Well, it's been a very interesting weekend of weather. We've seen the strongest low-level wind gust of the 2020-21 season thus far, with 92 miles per hour recorded at Needles on the Isle of Wight. The next big story is going to be a twofold one. We're going to see very heavy, persistent rain pushing into the West Highlands of Scotland. So as we skip through the sequence here, you can see here almost a somewhat of a conga line of low pressure here. One to the almost due west of Scotland, then another one kind of downstream, and another one downstream of that. And the moisture is going to just continue to pile into the western side of Scotland as we go through the next couple of days. But all the while, we've got the remnants of once tropical storm Theta. That is going to get lifted northwards in over the British Isles, and that is going to inject an added boost of both humidity and temperature, heat. So while we're going to see upwards of potentially 150 to 200 millimetres of rain over the next 48 hours or so across the West Highlands, in any sunshine up along the Murray and Aberdeenshire coast, we could in fact see a temperature of 16 or 17 Celsius in this region of the country. So we'll skip through the sequence here. You can see the rain continuing to just drive into the western side of Scotland, and then we'll eventually see that area of low pressure drive a cold front down over the British Isles come the middle part of the week, and that is going to open the door to an injection of the coldest air basically of the season so far. It's going to be almost more like a kind of a normal end of November air mass as opposed to anything particularly extreme. It will have snow primarily in mid to upper levels of hills. I don't really think we're going to get much in the way of snowfall to low levels, but it will be interesting to watch nonetheless. But of course, let's watch as the media hypes this late week cool spell, if you will. Nothing unusual, like I say, for the time of the year. What will be unusual is the fact that we'll see 17 degrees potentially in the northeast of Scotland come Tuesday into Wednesday. I want to also look, by the way, at the 500 millibar height anomalies. So this is off I believe this is off the GFS, and if we look at the 500 millibar heights, this is of course for during the day on Wednesday at 3 o'clock in the morning. Of course, you can see where our air is coming from. It's coming from Spain, but then you've got the trough just to the west of the UK. What happens during the day on Wednesday is that area of low pressure pushes through. It has, of course, the attached cold front that will drive north to northeasterly winds into the British Isles. So instead of seeing temperatures of 16 or 17 in the northeast, we could be talking about temperatures 3 to 5 Celsius for highs come Friday afternoon. But if you notice here to the west of the UK, we've got another ridge of high pressure. So of course the cold spell is not going to last. And you can see here as we go through, this is into the day on Friday, and then into the weekend, we have another push of mild air, very, very mild air for the time of the year once again. Notice the area of low pressure up to the west of Iceland. That is a very deep feature indeed. So we've got a bit of a seesaw coming up. You can see that system eventually pushes the colder air back into the UK. Then we've got another trough that digs south, further south, more over the Atlantic. That allows a little bit of a ridge to develop over the British Isles, as you can see here. So this is in the Monday of next week, so a week today. And you can see the kind of seesaw, the up and down behaviour of the pattern. But what's interesting about this period next week is that push south over the North Atlantic and the push north of the ridge a little bit further downstream, that ridge actually goes up into Scandinavia, and as it does so, if you notice here that we start to see a colder trough and a tongue of colder air coming in from Russia, and it's driving underneath that ridge of high pressure, and potentially it's going to link up with the trough over the North Atlantic, as you can see here. And if that is the case, that would be a fairly chilly setup here to end the month of November. So you can see here, that would certainly be an interesting one with low pressure off the Brittany coast of France, and with the ridge of high pressure up Just to the west of the Norwegian coast, we've got our winds coming in from the east-southeast, and that certainly would be a cold direction, especially with colder air coming in to the eastern side of Europe and getting transferred westwards underneath the high over Scandinavia. So that's certainly a solution that may bring something a little bit more interesting, with areas of low pressure undercutting across the southern half of the British Isles into France. It certainly would be a solution that would be worth watching. Whether we're going to see it, whether we'll see it last for any length of time, all remains to be seen. Of course, this is one model run, and there's a very, very good chance that by the time we get even to tomorrow, we could see that the exact scenario has flipped around once again. The one thing I am confident is that we get the warmth over the next 24 to 48 hours. Then we get a quick, sharp burst of seasonable weather, shall we say. And then after that, well, that is open to question, of course. That's it for today. Hope you have a great day, and I'll be back in the next few days with more. Bye for now.